Hi everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday night at 7 Eastern, which means it's time for a Facebook Live video. So let me just be sure that we are transmitilating over here and get to where I can see if you guys have questions or comments or anything you'd like to say or ask. If you ask a question and I don't get to it, just ask it again. It probably just means that it scrolled by before I saw it, okay? All right, it looks like we're on air. Hey, Rosie, appreciate you joining. It's a good thing this started because I had just started to cut the maple fudge and, you know, the edges, those needed to be trimmed off, and they were just sitting there and they were so good. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Pam. Bree. Rose. All right, Lancaster, California. Rose, I have spent more time than I can tell you in Lancaster, California. Lancaster, Palmdale. Spent a lot of time there in my last few years working. Hello, everybody. I appreciate y'all joining. Is everybody ready for Christmas? Guess what? Christmas is going to happen next Saturday, a week from today, whether you're ready or not. So just saying, throwing it out there for your, use. All right. So here's the card that I gave you the sneak peek of, and it is quite amazingly wonderful. Not the card so much. I mean, I like the card, but the more important wonderfulness is the beautiful things from the new January to June 2022 catalog, which is the mini catalog. That's the Daffodil Daydream and the bundled daffodil dies. Look at this, you guys. You get 24 dies. You can make daffodils until the cows come home. You don't want the cows to come home while you're making daffodils because they'll eat them. Hi, Daryl. Hey, Wendy. Appreciate you joining. Not really ready. I hear you. I do understand. All right, so I wanted to show you two other things. At the same time that this new catalog is coming out, we're going to have number one of two celebration periods in 2022. So the first one is January 2 and February of the new year. And in celebration, you are able to get free goodies. This is the celebration flyer. Let's see if there's anything on the back useful. No. But basically what happens is when you place an order, whether it's from the new mini catalog or the annual catalog or a clearance rack, when your order reaches a $50 or $100 level, you'll be able to pick some of the goodies out of this brochure for free. This special moment set, which is, as you can see, filled to the brim with sentiments. This is free with a $100 retail order. And then the most wonderful Daffodil Afternoon paper. I got to show you this paper because it is just absolutely gorgeous. I love this paper so much. I'm not going to say that I've already got 4 or 5 packs, but yeah, I totally do. And, here's a thing. If you order one of my paper shares, you'll get a little sampler of all of the papers that are in the celebration flyer, and this is one of them. So you would have some of this to play with right off the bat. So I would urge you to go ahead and get signed up for that. Look at this one. I love this. All right. So Daffodil Afternoon, this is free with a $50 purchase in celebration. So I don't know about y'all, but free is my very, very favorite price ever. Alrighty, so let's go. I know it is gorgeous, isn't it? Hi, Debbie from North Fort Myers. Appreciate you joining. Patricia, appreciate you coming. I'm glad you made it from Pasco, Washington. Okay, so all of this will be on my blog tomorrow, so you don't need to do anything but watch. We're going to do a little coloring, so I did a little bit of pre-coloring and cutting, and actually a little bit of matting because I think you know how to put glue on DSP and then hook it to some cardstock. But I do want to show you a little trick. I used the stems dies. When you see the instructions tomorrow, I'm going to say, how do you sign up? Oh, Jaretta, if you go to my website, you will see a menu, my blog site, Stampsin-Lingers.com. You will see a link at the top for my paper shares, and you can go there and it will give you an order form to fill out and you'll be ready to go. I'll send PayPal invoices like the 27th, 28th of the month, and then I will order everything on the 4th and get them turned around as fast as I can. Hopefully early in the week of the 10th, if not on that weekend prior. Okay, so anyway, I've cut 2 stems from Pear Pizzazz, and since I was matting on Pear Pizzazz anyway, what I did was I've cut those stems from the mat that I used for the front. Now, I don't, if I remember, and my brain actually works for me, I try not to do this on the inner liner mat, because if you have this adhered over the top and you're trying to write a note, then this is going to be kind of bumpy, okay? But I have no problem at all doing it on the card front. It works great. All right, so just a little tip so you can save a little cardstock. All right, so this, did you know that this is called window pane plaid? Yes, it is. And I think it is gorgeous. It's flirty flamingo and pale papaya on very vanilla. And I love it. So I have adhered some of that to some Pear Pizzazz. And then I took another design from the same DSP, also on Pear Pizzazz. Pear Pizzazz, Pear Pizzazz. And I am just going to adhere this. Now, somewhere, sometime in my distant past, I was taught you don't mix plaid and stripes. But I have done that here. I just went crazy. I put some stripes right smack on some plaid. I just did it. You can't stop me. There you go. Alrighty. Now, those 2 stems that I told you about, these are those are they. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sponge dauber and some Pear Pizzazz ink. I'm going to set this aside so I don't get Pear Pizzazz in places that I don't want Pear Pizzazz. There's a lot of places I don't want Pear Pizzazz, but particularly on my cardstock. And I'm just going to take this and kind of give this a little bit of depth with my sponge dauber. Not a lot. Otherwise, they look like, whoop, that was almost more depth than I planned on. Otherwise, they kind of look like pieces of cardstock sort of cut to look like stems. But if you do this, you can kind of give it a little bit of extra bump. Now, a lot of this will be hidden, but it's a lot easier to just shade the whole thing like this, see? Hey, Suzanne, appreciate you joining. All right, so I've got that first one, and then I'll do the second one. Remember, if you have a question and I don't see it, just resubmit, because it's just scrolled out of my field of view there on my screen. Hello, Holly. How are you tonight? Besides chilly. It is 65 here and raining. It's like, okay. It's winter, Georgia. Come on, man. Hey, Lynn. Appreciate you joining from Magnolia, Delaware. All right. So now I'm going to wipe my fingers off. And I'm going to start building my collage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this on my card base. This is just a thick, basic white card base. Because I want to be sure that if I happen to extend over the top, which I do like to do, but I want to be sure I'm not going to get out of bounds of the card front, the card itself, right? Because you want it to be able to go in your envelope. And if it goes, like if I adhered it like this, then when I attached it to the card, that would be a problem. That would be problematic. So I'm going to let it overlap, but I'm going to make sure it's not so much that it goes off of my card base. Did that make sense, everybody? And I'm just going to go kind of like this, but I'm going to go straight up-ish, more like that. All right, and then I like to pick them up. Sometimes I like to pick them up with my Twizzlers. 65 in December is beautiful. Yes, it is. It's lovely, and it's like, it's foggy in the morning, so I pretend that I am in Sequim, Washington, and just past the fog where I can see is the ocean. That's what I do. It's not, of course, but I can pretend. It's my little world. I can pretend. All right? Okay, so that can just sit for a second. What I did before you came, if you'll recall, I mentioned that I had done a little cutting. I've got some of the sweet little butterflies. I've actually got too many because I had an extra. These are all stamped in, oh, I know why that one wasn't a good one. I'm glad I saw it before I stuck it down. I used basic gray to stamp 3 of the little butterflies from the Daffodil Daydream. And then there's 2 florals. One has 3 flowers and one has a single daffodil. And I've stamped 2 of those and cut them with their matching dies. Okay, so there's really no fussy cutting at all. It's all dies. Remember, 24 dies. I feel pretty confident that we can find anything we want to die cut here. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to color this up. I'm using my light and dark Daffodil Delight blends. And I'm going to start with the light and just kind of flood the whole flower, like so. You guys know that I am a Stampin' Blend artist, by which I mean not at all. So this is pretty basic. If you are a better colorer than I am, then yay! All right, now I'm going to take the dark one, and I'm just going to kind of arbitrarily determine that it might be dark there. I think this part of the flower blossom is going to be dark, and then I'm going to say it's dark against there. Yeah, see, that was pretty high-end. We're talking Mona Lisa smile right there. Sistine Chapel. Ha! I got your chapel right here. There we go. There's our daffodil. Dunske. Thanks, Wendy. I'm glad that helped. All right, and then I'm going to take my light Mossy Meadow, and I'm just going to color my stems. And you kind of want to go easy up against the ink. The ink is water-based. The blends are alcohol, so it shouldn't really blend over, but I can assure you it will if you get too jiggy with it. So don't get jiggy. Don't be like me. Just go easy. Light strokes. Just barely touch the tip in. Pretend like you're on a Facebook video and you don't want to have to restamp this image and then recut it out. Like, pretend that is where you're at, and that will help you be much more careful. And then you hope you don't have some kind of like spasm. You ever have a spasm where your hand just goes like that, and then you look down and, oh, I've got ink everywhere. I have that happen occasionally. I think it's because my brain goes, oh, you were going to make another batch of fudge tonight. I wonder if I've got all the stuff to make that another batch of fudge. And then the next thing I know, I'm coloring way outside the lines. Way. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of shading with this same light. That's kind of the beauty of the blends, is you can use both if you want. And I'm going to in just a second, but you can also do a lot. Hi, Shelly. You also can do a lot just by going over again with the same light blend. But I'm just going to add a little bit of dark just to give it a little character. And I did the same already on the other image, okay? So they both got this same kind of treatment, like this, and then we'll blend that in. Like so. I don't know if you guys can hear it, if the microphone is sensitive enough to hear the rain coming down pretty good outside. All right. Hey, Karen, appreciate you joining. See, Wendy, it's like I said, you just get these little spasms, like your hand just goes off on its own, it's in its own little world. Alrighty, now we'll go ahead and cover these up. And then I'm going to start adhering. And what I'm going to do, I recommend that you do a dry fit. And I don't really need it on the card front at this point, or on the front of the card base at this point, but I'm just going to leave it just because it helps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it out like I plan to adhere it. And that way I can make sure that I'm getting things where I want. And I'm putting my butterflies in and amongst the leaves and the flowers like this. And then we'll put this down here. And see, if I'd already adhered that, I'd be sad. So I'm going to pull him up like that because they're too cute to ignore. Now these are just the light. I didn't do any specialness, okay? And I'm going to hang on to this one because it's going to go down here, but it's going to go after my sentiment, which, by the way, looks like this. This is from Special Moments. And what I did to make my little decoration is I took a paper lattice, and the hardest part of this was getting it out of the little sticky cellophane thingy. What I did is I cut one rung off. So I cut right along here, and then I carefully trimmed, can you see? I trimmed those little ears off, okay? So it's gonna sit like this. And does it even make any rhyme or reason? No, but it's gonna add just another little bit of texture, okay? And then this is gonna go like that. I'm gonna go ahead and just get crazy and cut that end off just so it's a little easier, but I'm gonna leave it long just in case. Because you know what, I don't know if you know this, but it's really hard to put cardstock back on. So basically it's gonna be like that, and then I'm gonna have my linen, my bow here. Okay, so let's go ahead. We can start adhering. What I'll do, I think right here, the best way to do this would be to leave that little guy right there. And then I'm going to put some glue on here and on that butterfly right there. That way, he's just going to stay with the program. Okay, and I don't really have a lot of glue right there, which means I'll be able to grab that second butterfly and put a little glue on him and slide him back under that leaf, like so. Remember, you can get a lot of texture and a lot of interest just by layering the pieces. All right, now I'm going to take some dimensionales, and I'm going to dimensionalize this one. Okay. And this is a real good picture of what dimensionals do. So you want to remember that your dimensionals. No, ma'am, not dimensionals. Stampin' Blends do. So they bleed through. You want to be careful that you don't have something behind it that is going to bleed in a way that you do not want it to bleed. I mean, bleeding is generally bad. So, you know, don't bleed. Try not to bleed. Did I use too many Stampin' Dimensionals there? Maybe a few extra than I needed, but that's okay. Way better to have more than you need. Thanks, Wendy, than to have fewer than you need. Now, really, if I was thinking about it, I'd get real careful and I'd cut some there, but I'm not going to because I think they'll be fine. If whoever gets this wants to, you know, throw it around, it's going to get all dinged up anyway, So putting a couple of dimensions under those stems probably wouldn't help me any. All righty. I was just looking at my nails today. I think, I don't want to say it out loud, really loud, so that the nail gods here, I may actually have enough nails to go get a manicure this week and put some Color Street on so that I have something looking decent for Christmas. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm going to put him right there like that. Just like that. Now, I forgot something that I meant to do here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this dimensional back off. Okay, so now there's no dimensionals under the stems, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to use glue there to push it down. That way I've only got dimension here, but not here, so it's a little thinner where I'm fixing to put that, paper lattice strip. I just forgot I'd done that. I made this card a few days ago. Okay, I've slept, okay? Don't judge. Everybody forgets things every once in a while. Okay, there we go. Now, I'll take my little strip of paper lattice. Yeah, I know, Karen, I'm sure that they did break. I mean, I'm just waiting. There's like 5 entire days. What, 6 days before Christmas? There's little to no chance. But considering that I have approximately 102,000 packs of Color Street, I probably should try to use a few of them. There we go. I'm just barely touching this with the liquid glue. And I'm going to put it like that. And it's got kind of a hill in it, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then I'm going to take my sentiment and put it on with dimensionals over the top of that. And I think I'll put them on just the ends because I've got kind of a hill in the center. And then we'll be ready to go. Oh, hey, Lori, I didn't see you come up. Glad you're with us tonight. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Alrighty. So remember, I'm not adhered to my card front yet. I'm just using it as, or my card base, sorry. I'm just using it as kind of a guide. And I'm just going to pop this right there. You can see I have, whoops. In the very last second, I tweaked it. I did not want to tweak it. There we go. Okay. You can see I've got more sentiment over here than over here, and that's because I'm fixing to cover it with my double loop bow. All right, so in case you're one of those folks who has never seen me make a double loop bow, here you go. I like it with linen thread. You can do it with baker's twine, but it does work a lot better with linen thread, okay? And here we go. So you hold the piece of linen thread between your thumb and your forefinger, and you're gonna wrap 4 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're gonna wrap 4 times around just these 2 fingers. So there's 1, oops, try to keep that little tail out of the way. Come here. 1, 2, I'll pull it out, 3, 4. And then we can, oh, yeah. Hang on a second, got to stand up and get my ribbon scissors so that I can actually cut this. There we go. And then we'll cut that off. And what that leaves you is 2 loops. I'm gonna pull this out. I let it get underneath there and it didn't want to be. Okay, so you have 2 loops, like so, a loop within a loop. To make the double loop bow, now I'm gonna push these 2 ends together and then I'm gonna twist. So then I have a figure 8, like that. And this is where your reverse tweezers come in so handy. Just use that as a 3rd hand. Take another little piece of the linen thread, note to self, buy another roll of linen thread, or look in one of your mini drawers and see if you had extras, because that's what you usually do. And then I'm going to take this small little piece and wrap it around where the figure 8 came together. So basically right where that my tweezer is holding, and pull it snug like so, and then do another. So you're just doing a double overhand knot. And then you can let the tweezers go, and then you're going to Farrah Fawcett it. Okay, so I like to make it look like Farrah Fawcett's hair. My theory is, and this, I have to have this be my truth. It has to be my truth, because otherwise it just means that she woke up gorgeous every day. And I'm just sure she spent hours and hours in hair and makeup looking like she had spent no time at all. She always looked like she just rolled out of bed, but it was always perfect. I had serious Farrah hair envy. Serious. Okay, so we're just gonna make that messy. That's the beauty of this bow, is it's messy, which means it's beautiful. And then I'm going to take a glue dot and we're going to adhere it to the end of the sentiment, which is why I left some extra room so that I could move it out the way. Let's take a glue dot, put it on the, well, we're gonna call this the front because that's prettier. So I'm gonna put it on this side and we'll stick it right like that. And then you can kind of play with it and make it do what you want, okay? And you can, if you want, you can cut these little ends off. I like them long. I don't mind them going over the sentiment at all. In fact, I kind of like that look. It looks much more organic to me than, and it's not very formal. So this is just kind of a Vera did wake up beautiful every day. I'm not going to lie, towards the end, she didn't look real good. She was a sick woman, and it was unfortunate. It was really sad because she was just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And her hair was a thing of beauty. I mean, who grew up in that time did not want Farrah hair? I wanted Farrah hair so bad. Okay, now I'm going to take some new iridescent basic rhinestones, rhinestone basic jewels, and I'm just going to put a few here and there and everywhere, up and down and all around. And it helps if you sing it. You have to sing it. Now, someone told me that the Sound of Music is coming on soon. I'm sure if Amy was on, she would know exactly when it was coming, because she loves a good musical. You maybe don't know this about Amy Kunders, but she loves a good musical, and Sound of Music is her favorite. Yeah. Alrighty, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, working with the odd number rule. I flagrantly disregarded the stripes and plaids, but I am sticking with the decorate with odd numbers rule. Okay, now you see you can pull this to make it more even, however you want, whatever works for you. Okay, I love this bow because you can just tell yourself, I meant for it to look messy. Alrighty, okay, so there's the card front done. Now on the inside, what we're going to do is I'm going to stamp another one of the special moments sentiments, and then a couple more butterflies. Some butterflies. Tomorrow at 7, yay! You know it's Christmas when the Sound of Music comes on. And I suppose it's almost time for The Wizard of Oz, right? Isn't that at Christmas as well, or is that at Easter? I can't remember. Okay, so the one I'm using is Where Would I Be Without a Friend Like You, which I love. I'm going to do it in Mossy Meadow. And it's so handy that these are photopolymer, because it's really nice to have a photopolymer sentiment, because you can really, if you get over the top of it, you can sort of make sure it's straight. Well, if it's not straight, that's what the other side's for. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. And then I'm going to stamp a couple of butterflies. Now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. And this is where your graph paper can come in really, really handy. Let me show you a little trick. Take and stamp that sentiment on your graph paper. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm playing with what I want to do with those butterflies, right? So I know I want to stamp them in basic gray, and I really kind of want them really close to the sentiment, maybe even overlapping a little bit. So this way you can see what I did here is I'm changing up the direction, but it's fine. Here you can see that I overlapped the wing on the sentiment. And I know I can do that because I tested it this way, but this one I'm going to go this direction. I could make that work. I could make that work. I think I will go back to my first way, the way I had it on my sample, so that because I want them opposite direction. I don't want them both going this way or both going this way. I want them to go one this way and one that way. And I think this will be better like so. So what I'm going to do is now stamp them. And I'm going to stamp this guy like so. I'm not aiming to overlap, but if I do overlap a little bit, I have just determined that I'm okay, right? And the reason I wanted to check that is because this is not a photopolymer stamp, so I can't see through it. So I'm kind of having to bet on where that image is under there. And that's fine. You see, I've let it overlap. I'm good with that. Mary does not like the monkeys. I'm not going to lie. I don't care for the monkey. Actually, The Wizard of Oz, really not one of my favorites. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't actually watch it because I'm afraid I'm not sure which one doesn't have the brain, but I'm always a little too much like relating with that. Now I'm going to take my light Flirty Flamingo and just color these little guys right here, like so. And when I get down here, again, that Mossy Meadow shouldn't really run, but I'm not risking it. Why risk it? So I'm being careful and not scrubbing over the top of that Mossy Meadow ink. All right. And then I will add a small iridescent rhinestone because I love them so much. And mat this little guy on his pear pieces. I'm winging it. There you go. I'm just winging it. I don't like creepy monkeys. I don't actually like monkeys. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't want anybody to do bad stuff to them, but I don't really like monkeys. They're not my favorite. Okay. So there we go with a little bit of liquid glue. And then I'm going to put this inside that. I did a terrible job putting this together. I did a terrible, terrible job with that. It is so uneven. It's like, what in the world, Murr? What are you doing? There, that's a little better. Now we'll put this on the inside because of how it's, the inside. It would be weird to put this on the front. I'm not saying I've never done that, but it's also good if it's right side up, which means the top needs to be where the fold is. Just saying. Again, never have I ever put that in upside down. All right. And then I like to lay it like that because now I know that this is right side up, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. Thank you, Margine. I know this is a gorgeous, I don't even want to say this is going to be one of my favorites because I feel like I will say that many, many, many times in the next few weeks because there's a lot of really good things in this new catalog. I love them. Now let me see, there we go. See, cutting those little die cuts right out of there didn't hurt it a bit. In fact, you could say you saved a little ounce action, so your postage will be 0.1 cent cheaper, which means they'll round up 5 cents. And if you're like recently, they'll tell you that you took your 10-ounce package and you inadvertently mailed it in a large flat rate box that you don't even have any of. That's what they do. That's how they roll these days. The post office does. So, yeah, that was an extra $15 that hopefully I will get back. All right, so let's see. I've got all the covers off. Okay. And I should put it on the right side up. After speaking of that, I should put it on right side up. Okay, and so there's our card. Like so. And we'll finish off our envelope. Yes, it's beautiful. And it turns out, as it turns out, Easter blessings, one of the sentiments. It's like they know us. It's like they know us. All right, I'll stamp a couple of these flutterbys. You know what? I love these little butterflies, and I'll tell you why. They are the perfect size. They are neither too big nor too small. They are the perfect size. They are, in fact, you could say, just right. And I'm going to stamp one here. I'm going to stamp one here, just like that. And yes, I know I'm breaking the rule of odds, but I'm going to live with that. Oh, I already am, Amy, but it's just like, wait, a 10-ounce package in a bright red envelope. You've decided that it was 11 ounces, which is wrong. And so I must have obviously mailed it for $18 in a flat rate box. Yeah, they've gone crazy. They've just gone crazy. I actually have two that they've said that. The other one was just $3, and I refuted it, but I was not really worried about it. But $15, that annoyed me. Alrighty, there we go. And then I'm going to put some of this window pane plaid on the envelope flap. Yes, they have gone nuts. I love this. I wish, Stampin' Up, are you listening? Because I know you care what I wish. I wish to have an entire pack with this plaid in it. Yes. Maybe in various colors that coordinate, but this plaid could be on the back of all of the florals, and I would be good with it. I would be so good with it because it is so pretty. It's so pastel and soft and lovely. And look at that. I have a little piece of linen thread in there. Ha, ha, ha. I know the stripes and the plaid go together perfectly. I'm certain it's because the colors are the same. If it was the wrong colors, if they were clashing colors, it would be bad. Like, you know, that 70s show, that would be bad. Oh, I saw something. Was it on TV? Somebody had on a whole plaid pantsuit, and my brain flashed back to the 70s. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. There's some things about the 70s that should not come back, and plaid pantsuits are right up there at the top of that list. Just saying. And give this a quick fussy cut. And you know what we'll be? We'll be done-ske. Now, just so you know, for your planning purposes, I am not going to do this Facebook Live on Christmas Day. I know. I'm sure you were already rearranging your schedule to accommodate my video on Christmas Day, but I won't be here. I will, however, I am planning on coming out on Thursday on my YouTube video, so I hope you will join me for that, and then we will reconvene after Christmas. All right, so there you go. Daffodil Daydream with the bundled daffodil dies, and then the free with $100 purchase special moments. Gotta love all the sentiments in here, okay? I love it. I like this one. It's okay to feel the feels. That's so right now. Everybody is saying, I feel all the feels. When I first heard it, I was like, wait, what? Okay. So anyway, you'll be able to get it free. You'll be able to get this gorgeous paper for free. And that's all starting in Celebration, which is like in almost less than, actually, I think it's less than 2 weeks, isn't it? Just barely 2 weeks. Guys, I appreciate you spending part of your weekend with me. Enjoy the build up to Christmas Day. If you've got kids, enjoy their excitement and happiness. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Happy day. Ta.